Hey guys, I'm Chronic Gamer, and in this video I'm going to give you a brief overview of the Temple of the Silent Storms PvP map, which came in just about 2 hours ago at the moment of this recording with the new Lost Shores content patch for Guild Wars 2. I'm going to start off with the location of the major points on this map, which would be the location of the capture points and also the location of the buffs. Afterwards, I'm going to go into a bit more detail on the buffs, and last but certainly not least, the general structure of the map. So where are the main fighting areas going to be? Where are some handy shortcuts to get from point to point as quickly as possible? And also, how big of a role is knockback and teleport going to play in this very vertically arranged map? Now, the best way I thought of to do this is to just go back to the basics and kind of draw some stuff on the map for you while I'm talking about it. But I'm going to combine this with lots of in-game footage as well, so you get the combination, kind of the idea where stuff is at, and while I'm talking about it, also the view in-game. So this way you should go out of this video with a basic idea of the map structure. So let's start off with the basic elements. First off, we have the spawn points, the blue team on the left and the right for the red team as always. You're gonna start off on a Zeppelin, and once the game has started itself, you can go through a portal which will bring you about here, and of course the equivalent for the red team. Now, most of you might know that all the maps in Guild Wars 2 are arranged pretty symmetrically so that no team gets a disadvantage or advantage from the location of certain points in relation to their spawn points. And this is the case here as well. Let's get to the capture points. Now we have the altar for the closest point to the blue team and the temple for the closest of the red team, and of course the gate, which will be pretty much the point everybody's gonna be fighting about. The altar and the temple have two ways to get in. Now you could take the direct approach and just stomp through the front door, or go a bit more sneaky and walk along the side here and kind of flank the enemy if they are holding the point at the moment. Otherwise it's just a longer distance, so not that useful. Now the gate is almost attackable from all locations besides the water. Since it's such a vertical map, you can go through tunnels here and here or here, jump from bridges there and there, jump from a balcony here, go down the stairs, so it's attackable. It's pretty open and it's gonna be hard to keep it. Now, the buff mechanic is what distinguishes this map from the other capture point maps in Guild Wars 2. We have 4 buffs in total. We have the meditation on ferocity here and here, the meditation on stillness located here, and also the meditation on tranquility, which will be right up here. Now, these work so that you have to be in the immediate vicinity of the buff and press the F button or wherever you have put your interact functionality. Now, for the meditation on ferocity, you'll get a buff which brings +3 points for each kill on your team. So if you manage to get both points instead of 5, both buffs, sorry. Instead of 5 points, you'll get 11 points for each kill, which is a pretty big advantage. Now, the meditation on stillness gives you an advantage if you have all the capture points, because this doubles the amount of points you get from these capture points per second. I think that's the time you get points for these. So instead of 3 points every second, if you have all 3 of these, you're gonna get 6 points, which again is a pretty big change. The last one, and in my opinion the most interesting one, is the meditation on tranquility. To get there, since this is underground, you either have to use the tunnel entrance right here at the gate, or you can jump down some holes on either side of the meditation on stillness buff. This way you'll fall into water, can jump on some crates and get onto the bridge, which will guide you directly to the meditation on tranquility buff. This buff, once you acquire it, gives you all 3 capture points. So the enemy team can have all the points. Once you get this buff, everything switches and you'll have all 3 points, which can be a pretty big game changer in a late stage of a map, and I expect some pretty interesting situations occurring due to this buff. Now, these buffs spawn from time to time. From what I've noticed, the meditation on ferocity will be the most common, afterwards the meditation on stillness, and then the most rare will be the meditation on tranquility, of course, because this is a pretty big game changer if you get this one, and so it's going to be the most rare. Once you'll take it, there are, I don't know, maybe a minute. I haven't gotten around to exactly stop the time on that, but they keep coming back from time to time. So even if you'll turn all the points once, it can still happen if you're pretty early in the game that the buff comes up again and the enemy team will turn it around. Now let's get to the general structure. We have the main fighting areas here and here, which are the big flat areas on the map. Otherwise, we have big vertical elements all over this. Bridges, and of course here it's almost divided into 3 different levels of height. So there's going to be lots of jumping going on. You can get into some nooks and some corners. I think here might be one. You're going to see in-game footage of it right now. There you can hide and kind of wait for an attack or gather your troops to attack the gate. And all over the map there is the vertical element, which ArenaNet talked about previously, and also hiding spots to kind of get the advantage over the enemy team. Now, as I mentioned before, the teleportation and also the knockback mechanic in Guild Wars 2 will be very interesting on this map with the vertical element in play. On these bridges, I'm gonna show you a few in-game scenes here. You can use, in this case, Infiltrator's Arrow and also Shadow Step, or whatever teleportation mechanic you have available. I don't exactly know which are the ones from the other classes, to, well, get some pretty ridiculous shortcuts. I had one moment where I pretty much avoided my certain death by going up there, so it's pretty fun once you figure out all the points. One other point I want to mention, I almost forgot, is right here. I'm going to show you in-game scene as well. There is a pretty easy jump, but you can miss it as well, and this will give you a bit of a shortcut on your way from the altar to temple, or maybe from one meditation on ferocity to the other. So if you learn to do that jump pretty reliably, then you'll get a big shortcut on some of the distance there. Now, the knockback element is another one that is pretty interesting in this, because as I talked about, these holes will go down for a while until you fall in water, and if you're fighting over the meditation of stillness buff in the middle and a guardian or a ranger or whoever has knockback as well will kick you down there, you're out of the game for a while. Now, this also applies to the bridges and pretty much everywhere where there's a vertical element. So that's pretty much all of this map. I might go into a bit more detail in the future once I have got around to play some tournament PvP on this and give you a bit of an idea of tactics and not just the general structure. But that's for this video. I hope you got some information about this and you'll find your way through this new map. My name has been Chronic Gamer. I'll see you next time.